Aren't you doing the intro, Vicky?
No, I didn't know. No, I
No,
Oh my God, we fell at the first hurdle.
I don't know. You're doing the intro, aren't you? Yeah.
This is great.
Okay.
I am not editing this out. Okay, this is.
Hi everyone, welcome to episode 104 of WA Running Podcast. I am back after a bit of an extended break still in the UK, which we will get onto a bit later, I'm sure. I am joined across my screen by three weapons, although we can't between us name a single weapon this week, I don't think. I've got Simon Shaw.
Hey, what?
Yeah, no, I did. It was a joke.
Okay.
Simon Pham, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you? What a start. It's probably one of our
This is perhaps the most unhinged start to this podcast ever, but I'm enjoying it. This is good.
Yeah. No, I'm very good. Very good. Look, I wish my last name was Shaw, but no, I have to accept Pham. No, I'm good. Nice. Actually, I pulled up really well after yesterday's race, but that's probably because I didn't run the full 10 kilometers. But no, feeling good. Ready to rock and roll for tonight.
Yeah, that 200 meters that you got a reprieve from will have definitely helped with that recovery, I reckon.
I think so as well. Though there were a couple of people that continued to full send past the finishing chute. Don't think it will be official, but there were a couple that just sprinted for the next couple, and I think they had to veer left, so it was a bit of a weird GPS file for them. But no, I did not do that.
Full Forrest Gump mode, just like just running through a crowd.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, jeez. And we have got the lovely Chris Shaw joining us as well.
Yep, I'm here. My last name isn't Pham, and I'm glad I don't have. So I'm doing really well this week. Thanks, Vicky.
I feel like there's an in-joke here that I'm not privy to, so maybe we'll come on to it later. Maybe not.
I think maybe we won't touch on that, but
Okay, all right. And we are joined this week by Keith Mitchell for an interview, and Keith joined us quite a few episodes back. So Keith, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thanks, Vicky. It's nice to be back under the new overlords. Things are seeming, I know the introduction doesn't seem it, but things did look more organised before joining.
I take full responsibility for the poor intro. Sorry about that, everyone. But we'll get into it. We'll get rolling in a minute. We'll get into an interview with Keith a little bit later, as we will talk about the Wolves and the Lifeline WA fundraiser that Keith has been instrumental in organising. First of all, I will just recap what we're going to talk about today. So we've got, as Simon has already alluded to, results from Matilda Bay Run and the True Blue Ultra. We also have Strive Programme B. We've had an 800 and a 3,000 there, and we will finish off with our Simon Says and possibly some weapons of war if Chris has got time to scroll through and find some good ones.
Chris is writing stuff down in the run sheet, so it's looking good.
As we speak, this is so organised. So yes, we will get straight into it, I think, with Keith. So thanks again for joining us. You were with us back on, or not me because I wasn't here, but and maybe that was a good thing. You were back with us on episode 41 with Jess Jason, back in the day where Jess was the female Wolves or she Wolves run leader. So Keith was the founder of the Wolves Run Club, which it has been insinuated that we may talk about a little bit too much on this podcast sometimes, and we're going to talk about them even more today. Keith has talked Simon into taking part in Herdys Backyard Ultra, and apparently you're going to run 43 times 1K laps for the fundraiser.
That's already happened.
I'm trying to figure out what that's.
Yeah,
sorry, the one that you already did. Yes. Okay. Yeah,
that
back
was
in,
when,
when
yeah, that was
that?
when I was just gonna, and I don't think I even met Keith. I think we were just exchanging Instagram messages up until that point. And I believe the plan was for me to just go for a jog for 2 hours. And then 4 hours later, I managed to do 43 1 kilometer laps. So, yeah, he's very good at talking me into stuff. But I also have a poor mindset and can be coaxed into anything.
I do have a bit of habit of talking people into things and then only doing 50% of it myself. But that one, I did complete that one, to be fair.
So yeah, Keith did do the whole 100% though recently of the Sydney Marathon, and has become the proud owner of a 2:50 marathon time at Sydney. So pretty impressive run from Keith there. And I do remember the aftermath of that, where Keith decided that it was a great idea following that event to set up a wind-up after party at the world's highest rooftop bar, which only had stairs, no lift, and we all had to walk up those stairs and then back down those stairs at the end. So I, for one, was not particularly grateful of that. But anyway, it was a great celebration of some awesome runs in Sydney. So we'll get into it. So Keith, do you want to start by telling us or recapping a little bit about what kind of led you to set up Wolves and what it's all about?
Yeah, thanks, Vicky. I think it's been well capped on this podcast, thankfully, and the guys have done a good job of ensuring that the WA community hears about us and the work we're doing. But the short way to explain what we are is we're a community mental health ambassador group, but essentially we're a running group at our core. The difference between us and the run clubs that you'd see on social media is one, we're terrible at social media, but two, we run as a group at a very easy pace. We're talking kind of 5:45 for the quicker group and 6:30s for the slower group, because the whole idea is running side by side and fostering connection and having a conversation. That was the genesis of the club, trying to allow people to build networks and support networks for themselves outside of their families and usual friend groups, which we've been successful in doing. The second part of what we're all about is what we'll get into in a little bit, which is all around promotion of mental health awareness and trying to address stigma towards mental health conditions or mental ill health. So that is the formation of what we were. The last time I was on the podcast, we'd had it split into two groups. We had the Wolves and the She Wolves, and we merged probably not long after that podcast, to be honest, because when Jess left to go over east, we merged the two groups into one, which has probably been the best thing for the club, to be honest. We have a bigger group running on a Saturday together. The chat's more vibrant, more diverse. So turned out nothing but for the better. But the club's going strong, continues to grow really well. It's all not for profit, and as we'll get into, all of our fundraising gets directed towards local WA mental health charities. Our number one partner is Lifeline WA. So yeah, it's a project that I'm very passionate about, and people like Vici are instrumental to ensuring that it's successful and serves its purpose.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Sorry, Vici, go.
No, you go.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, it's quite remarkable the amount of work that you guys have been doing the past couple of years since I've kind of been following along, and obviously, yeah, it's a very important cause. I guess what inspired you to do Herdy's Backyard Ultra this year as the primary fundraiser for charities?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. So we did the last event that we dragged Simon along to was 63 1K loops, which Bobridge was a part of. He ran the 63. We dragged Simon out for 43 of them. That was self-managed, so it was literally a 1 kilometre loop at Leighton Beach, running around in circles. I think we clocked just under $25,000 for Lifeline WA as part of that. Funnily enough, we were kind of working on what was going to be the next event There was a lot of talking about running from Mandurah to Leighton, for example, straight down the freeway. We had 1 point signed off on that as the idea we were going to do. And then, funnily enough, we went. Kurt and I went and crewed Cameron, who runs with us and is on the committee last year at Herdys, which he did untrained. And that was our first backyard ultra experience, witnessing it firsthand. And I was just blown away, to be honest. I went in very skeptical about backyard ultras as someone that was, I like to try and run fast when I'm running. I just couldn't wrap my head around why you'd want to run for days. And then seeing it firsthand, I just thought it was just the coolest event. The vibe of being able to spectate the people in the tents, cooking food for their friends, and it was much more community focused than I expected, and far less kind of individualistic than I expected. And we came away and was just like, all right, we're going to do that next year, and that's going to be the fundraiser. Plus, the Sean at Ultra Series has just been excellent, to be honest. So, he's been really helpful in planning and trying to get this thing moving in terms of a fundraiser. So that's helped as well. But the event, I was shocked by how cool it looks, to be honest. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, I feel like the setup that you guys have at Bibra Lake the last couple of years is almost probably as close to Herdys as you can get in a marathon sense. So you're obviously very, very well prepared in terms of setting up all the gazebos and the crewing and stuff, but this is obviously a different beast. You mentioned Ultra Series there as a obviously a big partner. So I guess, why was Lifeline WA such an important choice for this particular event?
Yeah, we did the last time we did for Lifeline WA as well. So both of our major fundraisers will be to Lifeline so far. They've got a really good team there in terms of community engagement. So they're quite actively involved in supporting these sort of fundraisers. Lifeline is obviously instrumental in saving lives. Right, they are a critical service for people in need in the West Australian community in particular, and they're people in their darkest times. So, for us, it's very closely aligned with, our passions and what we're trying to work towards. There are some other great local WA mental health charities, but, part of this also feeds into name recognition, right? I was conscious at the start when we started fundraising, I wanted people to be very aware that whilst the Wolves is a not-for-profit, we don't fundraise really for ourselves in that way. So having a name like Lifeline made it crystal clear that, we're fundraising for a charity kind of outside and away from what we do in our day-to-day. They do incredibly important work. And the nice figure we like to rattle off is, $4,000 basically trains a new qualified crisis support worker. So every time we raise $4,000, there's a new person that's there to pick up the phone for West Aussies. We raised, close to 25 last time. We're at 13 at the moment, still a couple of months out from the event. So, we've there together raised, close to enough to fund 10 people that are answering the phone. So it's a nice, clear measurement that you're having an impact on the community, which is good.
Yeah, and obviously, like the whole Wolves team get behind this, but I guess, what does it mean to you to see the wider WA running community like rally behind these fundraisers?
Yeah, I mean, I love it, to be honest. Running can be such an individual pursuit, right? And Vici mentioned my marathon time, which she ripped me off by a minute and 7 seconds.
I know.
So
I didn't want to say anything.
But
I said sub 250.
Don't worry, Vici. It's just that Alaric's going to listen to this. I want to make sure he knows it's 4 seconds faster than him.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he knows.
So I think, taking away that individual side of running and everyone coming together for a clear cause, I just think is just an awesome thing. The people who have at the Wolves, but it's not just the guys that are, actively involved in the club. It's the wider community that, supports us as we're running around, or even just reads that, our shirts say mental health ambassadors on them, and they know that there's someone there that's kind of trying to fly the flag for something they might care about. Like, those things, I think, have a measurable impact on the community, and hopefully, they see some people, a very diverse group of people, from people that take their running really seriously to people that are just in it for the social side, all passionate about flying that flag, and they think to themselves, well, if they're happy to speak about it, then why shouldn't I be? That's really the hope that we try and get across to people through this process.
Beautiful. So I'm trying to think of it, the number of days. It's less than 2 months to Herdys.
Yeah, it's too close. Yeah.
It's a scary thought. So who's involved in the Wolves Run Club for this fundraiser? So tell us, a little bit about those that have put their hand up for Herdys, and what's been the logistics like in terms of getting the crew ready for Herdys.
We've got 30 runners doing it. We've got some that are experienced backyard ultra specialists, let's call it, that, the Vicis of the world, that understand how this works, the Andys of the world, they get it. They know the event. They'll be they're ready to go, and their training looks very different to the other end of the spectrum. And there's a lot of unprepared wolves getting ready for the event. But I said this to the chat, even Simon, you're in this chat the other day. I think I could sense that people were getting a little nervy about running a backyard ultra and having these giant numbers out there, whether it's 160k or 100k or longer. And that's not really what our event is about, right? Like, sure, run a long way because it impresses your friends and that makes them donate. Absolutely. Set yourself a goal like that. But the reality of it is, the Wolves committee, no one involved in the club really cares if you run 1 lap or 100 laps. It's more about the awareness we're doing. They're going to see a big group of people all wearing very similar gear, running around in circles together for a long time. The gazebos will all be together. The Lifeline flags will be flying. They've given us 6 teardrops, for example, to put out there as kind of merch to draw attention to the cause and things. So it's more about that and the fundraising than it is about the impressive performance that you're going to put in, Simon. So I did throw that in the chat the other day, and I think that's the important message, right? So whilst I'm sure that of that 30, many of them will be trying to go as deep as they can. I'd hope that a couple of them in there that are very unprepared are on the side of non-injury and work the barbecues or something instead, to be honest.
Well said from someone that is probably on the other end of the spectrum from the Andys of the world. I mean, how's your training been, mate?
Well, yeah. I mean, I haven't really been training per se. There's a bit of a story to that. I ran Sydney, and I thought, and I put way too much into Sydney. Like, I'll never run anywhere near that time again, to be honest. Like, I really gave that everything I had for a good 6 months in terms of build up and watching what I was eating, and I wasn't drinking at all, and I was ticking all the boxes. I was hitting the sauna, like, you name it. I was doing it. And that's it. That's all I've got. So there's nothing left in there to take. So I decided I'd take a month off running after that event, which I did. Took the family on holiday to kind of make up for some absenteeism that comes with marathoning. Came back, went to a friend's Bucks party. Actually, I made it to 9 a.m. The first event, I didn't even know there was events, but at 9 a.m. they decided it was a good idea to do a 50-meter sprint. I made it about 5 meters into the 50-meter sprint and pinged my hammy. So that sent my month off into about 3 months off. And now I'm just trying to get some resemblance of fitness and consistency back before Herdys, to be honest. So the training has been, let's say, subpar. I think I've been doing roughly 35k a week for the last 3 weeks. So we're a long way from Sydney Marathon at the moment.
Fair enough. I mean, you said that one of the Wolves members, was it Cam, that did Herdys untrained?
Yeah.
So do you remember how far Cam went?
Yeah, he did 70 odd K or something. I mean, he did exceptionally well. And he was barely training. He did a good effort at Busso for the half, and then did next to nothing between then and Herdys. And he was also flying out on a family holiday the next morning. So I think he pulled out before he reached his breaking point to make sure that his wife was still okay, that he could walk around and on holiday. But yeah, I think that I take that as a positive symbol. But equally, if you've met Cam, he's very stubborn, and he knew that we ran 63 Ks probably 6 months prior. So there was no way he was finishing up before that. So no, I guess we'll never really know how hard he had to push to get that. But he wasn't leaving without it.
Beautiful. I mean, that's a good sign for us, for the guys that aren't really training for it.
Yeah, I think so.
Certainly. Yeah.
I think so. I did a sim the other day. I was on the treadmill. My son was watching. First, he was watching Minions, and then he switched into the BBL, watching the cricket. And I did 5 minutes jogging, 2 minutes walking for 6.71, and then did that for 3 hours. On the every hour on the treadmill. And I mean, when you're walking that much, it felt pretty good. I mean, I don't know if I could do that for 24 hours, but 3 hours felt pretty good. 3 hours felt great.
It's more training than that I've done. So Vicky, because you're a backyard specialist, you've podiumed in the Herdys event.
I wouldn't call me a specialist. I've done it once.
Yeah, but you've podiumed, so you're in the upper echelons of the Herdys community. What sort of advice would you give? I guess us. With less than 2 months to go to the event. Any last minute training advice?
I mean, I think it all depends on how far you're wanting to go. First of all, what Andy Carrington would say is, do not have a goal. Do not have a goal. Like just go out and just keep going out. And if you want to go a long way, that is even more important. I think that as soon as you put a goal on, you're limiting yourself as to what you could do, because even if you get to that goal and then you're still feeling good, you're probably going to talk yourself out of going out again, or perhaps you might get one more lap and then you'll stop. So that would be the first thing. The second thing I think is training your gut is certainly the most important thing for me right now. That's what I'm going to do. We'll come on to my training weeks, which have been a bit rocky over the last few. And I have just done Gabby Villa's nutrition course to upskill myself, and it actually has given me quite a few really, really useful resources to plan my nutrition for my training, but also my backyard. And so I'm using some of that knowledge to help me over the coming couple of months in training. So yeah, they're probably the two biggest things for me. And she says, as she's like, I've said numerous times that I do have a goal. So it's kind of like a minimum, and that's where I'm going to aim to get to, but we'll see.
Oh, fair enough. I guess, you spoke about nutrition there. Have you thought about nutrition, Keith, in terms of how we can fuel?
No. I'm gonna for the 63 1K loops. I basically just had a spread of different things that I could eat, and I'll just do the same thing. I'll just have a different range of food out there. I know that's if I was doing this from a I want to put in my absolute best performance perspective, then I probably would have drilled into carbs per hour and the whole gamut. I certainly was in that kind of running obsessive phase for Sydney, but where my headspace is at the moment, there's no chance that I'm going to do that level of planning. So a smorgasbord of treats is going to be on the cards, and whatever I can stomach at the end of the lap will be digested for as long as I can digest it. That's as complicated as it will get for this one.
And several Macca's runs in there,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I think we bought Cam a pizza last year, and the look on his face was like I really appreciate the gesture, but I'm not so sure. I don't know if we ended up having it or not, but we thought we were doing him a real big favour. I'm not sure if it was.
The year I did it, my partner bought me. I asked for chips, and he bought me egg fried rice. And I was like, I really don't want egg fried rice. I want salty chips. Go and get me salty chips. And he was like, but you like egg fried rice. It's like, we've just been to the Chinese. And I was like, but not now. No, I don't. I think the smorgasbord idea is a good one, though. Even at a basic level, that was definitely something I got wrong the year I did it. And I was too prescriptive with the food that I had, and I didn't have enough instruction to my crew to give me options. I had a very, very comprehensive spreadsheet of everything that I was going to eat, and they had that ready for me. And I was like, but I don't want that. I want this, or I don't really know what I want, and so that was limiting.
All right,
Keith. I've not so famously said on this podcast that I will eat a soft serve cone for every lap that Simon does. I have eaten 14 in one sitting before, so I'm hoping that he will better that, just so I can tell my children that I've done more than 14 once upon a time. But how far do you think I would get if I just had soft serves on the backyard?
Soft serves only.
Yeah.
No hydration. They are your hydration too.
Yeah.
I mean, you're an accomplished runner. I think you'd be sweet. I reckon you got to at least be 100. The question is, surely.
Yeah. I think it's considered hydration as long as you're drinking it through a straw. So
yeah, I think it'd be fine. There'd be plenty of calories in there. I've never looked at the macro breakdown, but I'm sure there's a bit of sugar in there too, somewhere beneath the pig fat, isn't it? That they sneak into the sauces.
90% fat for sure. Yeah.
All right, let's go back to serious talk. So obviously, running to performance at Herdys is not the real goal, but what are some of the overarching goals for Wolves in this fundraiser? I guess from a fundraising target point of view.
Yeah, from a fundraising target, we set a very lofty target because we did, as I said, we almost did 25 last time. So we said, let's just make it double that, which is 50. Look, I don't know whether we'll hit that or not. Generally what happens is with these fundraisers, there's a bit of a flurry when you first announce them, which we had. And then there's a big flurry really close to the event when people realize you're actually about to do something stupid and run around in circles for a long time. And then typically through the event, you get a lot of people who are like, oh, they're actually doing it and it's live and I can donate to it and whatever else. So it's hard to know, whether we raise 30 or 40 or 50. I mean, it's all from a community club, from people that are, all unpaid volunteers that are kind of donating their time to try and promote awareness. So I'll be happy with whatever. Lifeline obviously would love 50 rather than 30, and we'll do our best to get it. But as far as I'm concerned, as long as everyone involved is doing their bit and trying to rattle the can as best they can, then that's all we can ask for from people. I certainly am not the type to think we need to harass and hound every single person that's fundraising for us to, make sure they're sending their kids to schools with a box of chocolates. We can give it our best, but at the end of the day, everyone's got work and life as well outside of these fundraisers, right? So it's a bit of a balance between pushing hard and also making sure that we're not, causing undue stress to people that are involved when they could be stressed with other things as it is.
So how do people get involved with the fundraiser or Wolves, or where to donate?
Yeah, there's a couple of ways. I mean, I'm sure you guys can help us out by throwing up the donation link on the socials so people can see it. That's a great way to help. Obviously, appreciate we're in a cost of living crisis, so people might not have a lot of cash to donate, but there's other ways to help out, whether that's coming down and helping crew different Wolves that might not have support mates through the event. It can be as simple as sharing a socials post to let people know that what we're doing. That doesn't have to mean that the people are then going to donate, but it could just be seeing your socials post might mean that they understand that you're a bit of a supporter of mental health and being open about it, and that might spread the word further. And then, of course, if anyone ever wants to come for a run on a Saturday morning, we're more than open to meeting new folks that are interested in coming for a very easy jog or a walk jog if you're running alongside me at the moment, and getting involved with the club. Right, it's all free and accessible to the public. We do run we run memberships in inverted commas. I appreciate people on the podcast can't see me doing my bunny ears, but I was doing bunny ears. We run memberships because what we're trying to do is foster connection between people. So, again, unlike the other many run clubs around, we kind of chime in and out without any registration. We do register, so you kind of get added into the chat and you become part of the community. But it's all free and accessible to anyone that wants to join. So if anyone needs the support, wants support, or thinks they could help us in the cause, then reach out to myself, Vici, or anyone else you think is involved. A long time ago now, it feels. It was kind of me handling a lot of the stuff, but frankly, since kind of the last 6 months or so, the committee members and the other kind of more senior leaders within the group are doing 99% of the work, and I just get to be the pretty face that does fancy podcasts and things. So reach out to any of the Wolves, and I'm sure they'll add you in and make you feel welcome.
Beautiful. Thanks, Keith. So we'll put the link to the Wolves Instagram. We'll put a link to the donation link in our show notes. But Keith, cheers for coming on, mate. I'll see you on the start line on the 13th of March.
That's right. I'll see you every lap after that.
Yeah, maybe 24. We'll see.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate having me.
All right, cheers. Have a go, mate. See ya.
Bye.
All right. That was really good. Yeah, that was awesome. All right, well, let's get into straight training weeks, guys. So maybe we'll start with you, Vici. How's your training been?
Yeah, it's been up and down, as I mentioned. I haven't chatted to you for a few weeks. So I was out on a run 2 weeks ago and I rolled my ankle. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I'm just losing track of time being in the UK and I don't know what I'm doing. So I was out on a run. It was very snowy, but I rolled my ankle on a flat bit of paved path trail. There was no reason for it, and it blew up like a balloon. But then I proceeded to run 20k on it because why wouldn't I? It's the kind of thing I would do. And I did see wild ponies just around the corner after that, so it was worth it. And I maintain it was worth it. Yeah, absolutely. But then I've been in the UK because my mum's been in hospital for an extended period of time. And I went to the hospital straight after my run. And by the time I got there, I could barely walk. And I sat with my leg up on her hospital bed and I was like, can you bring me ice? So I was at least in the right place for it. I thought about going to the orthopaedic unit and seeing if they could give me a pair of crutches. So anyway, that was that. And then I have had this like a bit of an Achilles niggle on that same leg for a little while as well, which I think just made the rolled ankle and the swelling made everything a little bit worse. So I gave it a day and then I went for a run, as you do.
Of course.
And then it was kind of okay and didn't react. So I went for another run and I've just been really, really tentative with it because I know I just shifted my form a bit. I was definitely compensating for that soreness. However, I feel like I mentioned I think I mentioned in our last episode before Christmas that one of the things I was going to try and do was put a response plan in place whenever I have a niggle or an injury. I think I did activate that response plan a couple of times really well in the last few weeks. Took a day off, did the elliptical, did some ankle stretching, did some ability work, and I've been doing that every single night since I did this thing to my ankle, and it seems to have paid off. So touch wood, I ran, I think over the weekend, back to Saturday, Sunday, this weekend I ran about 43k in total, and I haven't had any issues. So I feel like that's a good sign that things are settled.
That's good.
So for the week I put 73k there because that's what my Strava says. I did 63. I think I did 63k. And then I went horse riding yesterday, and that was 10K. So that gave me an extra 10. I'm not sure that counts.
So
really.
you turned your Garmin, set your activity for run, and or is there an activity called horse riding?
Well, I mean, I think there is on some Garmin. No, I just set it to work out, and it tracked me this ride, and then it actually added it to my Strava total. Weirdly, so when I looked at it, it said 73K, but that is not how far I ran. So I managed to tick off my last person standing week 16 last week, which was good. I managed to tick off one key session, which was meant to be 3x15 at tempo. I did 2x15 because I was being sensible. Managed it okay. So yeah, it isn't too bad. I feel like because I'm still in the UK and I'm not sure when I'm going to be home, I have pulled out of a couple of events that I was meant to be doing. I was meant to be doing Sandman as a relay team on the 1st of February, but I've pulled out of that, and I've also transferred my entry for Bussard and Half because I'm probably not going to be, even if I am back by then, I'm probably not going to be going off down to Busselton to run a half marathon. So
Sure.
So now all eyes are on Herdys. So that means that at least I don't need to be doing the intensity. I could just be doing the volume and just build volume and build time on feet, run walks, gut training, and I mean, I'm not going to do that. I'm still horse ride here and there. I'm still going to run. I'm still going to run my sessions because I like them, and they give me a lot back. So I will continue to enjoy them and just manage these slight niggles that I've got. Yeah. So that's
I mean, earlier you were talking about not setting a goal, but then you said you do have a goal for Herdys. What is that goal?
I want to run at least 26 laps for 2026.
Nice.
So we'll see. We'll see. It'll come down to various things, but from experience, it will come down to how uninjured I can be at the start line, and how well I can avoid having any issues with my with nutrition through the event. So
174 kilometers.
That's terrifying. I don't doubt you though, Vicky. I know you can do it.
We'll see. We'll see.
I don't think the only things that are going to stop you is if you roll your ankle again on a footpath. That's really the limiting factor.
Well, I rolled my ankle at the start line of Herdys the last time I did it, and then ran 22 hours on it, and and the only way I did it was from icing it every lap and just kept it. It was completely numb. I couldn't feel it. So, I mean, that would be a good thing. Would be not to do that again. But I mean, I can't promise that, given that I did it the other week. And the last time Herdys, I had a very bad knee, which turned into ITB syndrome, and it was very humid, and I didn't fuel myself well enough. I had every intention to, and I had the plan, but it just didn't work out, just because it didn't. So we just need to, put in place lots of mitigations for all of the risks that face me, and hopefully we will get there. So we'll see.
Beautiful. Yeah. All right, 6 p.m. Saturday. That's the target.
6 p.m. Saturday. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. First of all, though, I need to get back to Perth. So that's my first goal. And at the moment, I'm running in pretty horrible conditions. And yesterday I went out and did, because my mum's now home from hospital, which is amazing. But it means that and this is not a bad thing at all, but she needs a bit of help to get around the house and things. So I did my run yesterday, where I went out and did 8K or 9K, came back, took the dog out for a run, came back, got my mum up, sorted her out, went out for another run, and I was eating in between. And then I came back to check to make sure she was okay. And then I went out again, and it was 4 degrees. It was pouring with rain, and it was utterly miserable. And so I felt like that was quite good, like mental training, to just be like, right, I'm going again. and it's pouring with rain and horrible. So that was yesterday, and I think there's probably a bit more of that sort of training to come in the next few weeks while I'm still here.
Well, we're looking forward to having you back, Vicky. So whenever that date may be.
Yeah, me too.
All right, Chris, looking at your mileage, you're edging ever so close to 100 Ks. How's your training been, mate?
Good, mate. I actually wanted to crack the 100 this week, but didn't quite get there in the end. Reasonably good week. I think I'm in that phase of running where, you might be coming back from training or from an injury, or you might be building towards something. And the first few weeks, I think I always find this, the first 4 to 6 weeks of a marathon block or, whatever, always tends to be a bit hit and miss. Like your session, one session will be great, the next session will be garbage, and you kind of go through this cycle doing that for about 4 to 6 weeks. So I'm looking forward to that phase being over. But had a good 5x1K session on Tuesday last week. I didn't run Monday. I'm trying not to run Mondays at the moment, so I'm trying to just stay off my feet, be home on Mondays and ensure I get a bit of rest and get a little sleep in, which is nice. Did the 5x1 Tuesday, and then I think I was supposed to do a session Thursday this week, but ended up pushing it to Friday. And I did 4x6 minute threshold efforts, and I reckon I got about halfway through the first rep, and I thought, shit, this is slower than I ran last week when I ran quite well, and I wasn't sure I'd make it through the 4 reps. So I was really just happy to make it through the 4, to be honest. It was very warm too. I think it was Friday morning. It was probably close to 30 degrees by 9 a.m. at that day.
It was a warm day.
Yeah, so I think when I was running, it was probably high 20s, and so I kind of got to factor that into it too. So I'm not going to read too much into it. And then I enjoyed a long run on Sunday with Hannah Paget, the Bunbury superstar. We started at the Matilda Bay Run and early on before 6, and then basically did a run along Mount Matilda Bay and around the river, and then up through Kings Park and back. So that was good. Got 2 hours in on Sunday, and just like I say, just building. I'm not sure where I'm going to get to in terms of that, but with Mondays off every week, I don't think I'm going to be able to push the mileage too far because I don't anticipate myself doubling or anything too often. I think just make sure I'm ready on the 12th of April when that comes to run that 3 hour pack. It'd be good.
Very good. So building towards Bunbury Running Festival, 3 hour pace group. We've had some fallen soldiers in terms of those wishing to join you. I know someone slid into our DMs in the last week. So care to share who your 3 hour pace group buddy is?
Yeah, so we're going to have Joel Gray, who's a very accomplished runner himself, has won, a bunch of regional running events from down, I think it's down Albany way or Ellicott or down that way. Looking forward to catching up with Joel. I think he looked like he was training for Busselton Marathon this year, but unfortunately has had to step away from that. But he will absolutely be in 3 hour shape come April, given where his marathon time was likely to be at for Busselton. So, that's exciting to have someone join me and who's slightly more accomplished than I am. So that takes a little bit of pressure off, not to put it all on Joel, but it just means that I'm not going to be thinking about it for the next kind of 12 weeks, thinking about, what if I fucking have to shit in the toilet again at halfway through that race? Which is a 90% certainty. So,
He's got more tattoos than you, right?
And he's got more tattoos than me. So, it's going to be he's got more hair, more facial hair, more tattoos, more muscles. I think he's just got about everything more than I do. So, and more piercings. So, Joel's got it all, I'm going to say. Yeah.
Very good. Very exciting. All right. I'll go through my training week. So it's a bit of a down week, tapering for Matilda Bay Run. Matilda Bay was never meant to be a race per se, but ended up just tapering for it anyway. So usually a taper week in the Team Tina program involves 5 by 1 minute efforts on a Tuesday, and typically on a Thursday it's like a 3 by 3, but it was a bit different. It was a 4 by 2 minutes, kind of the same thing anyway. So that was good. I think over the last couple of weeks, because I'm hitting the 90 to 100K mark, which is a big jump from the 60, 70Ks that I was doing during the Daddy Track Star era. I am feeling quite fatigued and tired, just getting used to I guess that mileage and volume. So it was good to just ease up this week. What did I do? I think Friday, Saturdays were off as well, which typically would have been 30-minute efforts. So really eased it up. It was pretty flat still for Sunday, so I don't know if that's a problem or not. But so it was a down week. Did Matilda Bay on Sunday. I can talk about my Matilda Bay run a bit later, but kind of a tiring week, to be honest. Sort of dealing with some house stuff at the moment. Almost got an offer accepted and kind of walked away from the offer. So I think the stresses of getting the house ready, painting, potentially buying a house has sort of got to me in the last week. So, but all in all, down week. After Matilda Bay, I mean, I was hoping to do a 5K at some point, but I was messaging Tina yesterday. I actually don't know if I want to anymore. Like, the getting a good 5K time is not really motivating for me at the moment. So to be honest, I think the goal really is to get a good 10K and a good half marathon time some point this year. So I am conscious Herdys is less than 2 months away. So trying to get some training pre-Herdys, and then hopefully I can recover from Herdys okay. And then I've got Bridges, Joondalup half as potential options where I get back into the swing of things. I think big swing at Joondalup half is the game plan at this stage. Yeah,
no, that's cool. I guess, if you do run 24 hours at 24 yards at Herdys, gives you roughly a month to recover in time for Bridges, I guess.
Yeah. Whether or not I do 24, I think there is some motivation. So on one hand, there is, potential 24 scoops of ice cream that you'll have to consume within the hour, which is motivating for me.
Hey, it's not inside of an hour. That's 24 scoops in an hour. I don't think so. I don't think it was 24 in an hour. That would be outlandish. Our listeners will have to go back and well,
if it's not within an hour, like what's the point? I mean, okay, all right. We can negotiate how long. I mean, I was talking to Loz a couple of weeks ago because we were talking about Herdys, because Loz has done Herdys. And I believe she has done 24 hours.
Right.
So she has said that if I don't do 24 hours, she'll respect me less. So there's probably another motivated driver behind potentially doing 24.
And what about Dan? Is he going to, is the coffee bet off if you don't run 24? Is there any link to that? Or
Dan
is
doesn't.
It you have to run your last lap faster than your first?
I mean, we've not spoken about it yet. Partly because I think Dan, I'm going to gaslight Dan here. Dan doesn't believe backyard ultras is a legitimate thing. We haven't discussed coffee bet around backyard ultras, so no, probably up for discussion. But I reckon that's probably it. The last full lap needs to be faster than the first.
I think if you do that, Dan definitely owes you a coffee, especially if it's lap 24 that you run faster than lap 1.
I feel like that's not worth a coffee, but yeah, sure.
But possibly not for your future race plans.
Yeah, exactly. No, but look, I am weary of Herdys because obviously Vicky and I are in the Wolves Herdys WhatsApp group, and there has been recce runs organised every Sunday, and looks like there's a couple of guys taking it pretty seriously in terms of doing those recce runs and runs every hour just to see how they manage the logistics. I haven't really done much recce work just yet. I probably should at some point.
I think it's good to go out multiple times a day. I don't know. Having only done one, I can't say. And I did do a few of those. I did do a couple of, probably 3 or 4 sessions where I went down to the lake and just did a kind of boot restaurant, pop-up restaurant, and stopped every hour and did it properly. But I think even just going out like I did yesterday, I felt like that was useful just to go out and I wasn't doing 6.7Ks because I can't find a 6.7K loop here that works for me, that's safe, that's on pavement, that, it does all the things I need it to do. So I did a bit further than that. But just to stop and start, I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
To have some little breaks in between runs, to have food in between runs, to run on for example, for me, bananas haven't historically particularly suited me very well, but I know they're very good. If I could train myself to be able to take fuel from a banana, that would be useful. So yesterday I was like, right, I'm going to have bananas and see if that works for me. So I think that kind of thing. I'm not sure you need to go down and be at the lake and do a lap every hour on the hour if it doesn't suit your schedule. But I think a few runs throughout the day where you're fueling differently for them would be helpful.
Do you like a ripe banana or a like one of the firm ones?
Firm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So there's no pun involved in that. I'm just, but I just find that the firm ones taste disgusting. Like I just find them like it's like they're bitter or whatever. Like I can't stomach them. And when I have them for breakfast before a run, it actually gives me problems. So I'm just wondering, from your perspective, Vicky, why you might be struggling with the bananas, whether it's like you just don't like the really soft ones and they're too overripe.
Yeah. I couldn't do the opposite. They would just repeat on me. I just couldn't if it's overripe. It's a hard fruit to get right, I think, a banana.
It's like boiling an egg, it's and an avocado, I suppose, in some ways. But
yeah, definitely. You're completely right, because I ate both of those for breakfast, and if they're not right, they're just no, it's no good. It ruins the whole meal.
Yeah. How about you, Simon? Any preferences, mate?
No real preference, to be honest. No, whatevs, really, to be honest. If a banana's there, I'm eating it, regardless of how ripe it is.
Good.
So I'm kind of good. I don't really pay attention to my stomach afterwards, so there hasn't been any absolute shitstorms as a result of banana, so that's a good sign. I think so far the gut has been friendly for me. There was probably a month where everything I was eating wasn't sitting well, but I think I've got the gut training down packed. Actually, lately I've been eating right before I go for a run, and there hasn't been any disasters. So there hasn't been any VO spews, which is a very good sign as well. So I should be ready to roll come 13th of March.
I did realise the other day it's Friday the 13th of March, which I just feel like doesn't bode well if we're
Yeah, it's not good. That's not a good number, is it? Auspiciously. Yeah.
No. Anyway.
Oh well, it's too late. We've signed up.
Maybe we'll book the trend.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, let's get into results, because we've been recording for 54 minutes and we haven't gotten to the most important part of this podcast, which is butchering names of races and winners. So we'll start with Strive Program B. Vicky, take us away.
Proudly, I've already reviewed these names and practiced them, so hopefully I will be able to do them justice. We'll see. Strive Program B was on the Friday the 16th of January, and there was an 800 and a 3,000. So for the 800 metres, first in the females was Macy Hera in 2:10:55. Second was Neve Walsh in 2:10.67, and third was Sarah Hines in 2:16.28. For the males, Jonah Hanna-Carey was first in 1:53.19. Oscar Clements was second in 1:53.74, and third was Samuel Brennan in 1:54.6. And then for the 3,000 meters, it was Ava Debritz in 9:54.02, Rebecca Bolster second in 9:58.80, and third was Quinn Vander. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't practice this one, and it's not even that hard.
Isn't it just Bandridge?
Bandridge. I don't know why I'm stumbling over that. Quinn Bandridge. It's the A that throws me. Quinn was third in 10:02.11. For the men's 3,000 meters, Zane Valboy was first in 8:48.21. Max Hawkins second in 9:24.06, and Christian Perkis in 9:30.41. And a couple of shout outs. Devlin Shiffins running a 9:32 track star debut, and Tom Shenton running 9:48. I'm assuming both in the 3,000 there. Don't know whether you've got any builds on either of those, Simon or Chris.
Christian Perkis is my nemesis. I think he's about 16 years old. So
right.
I defeated him in a community 5K 2 years ago, but he's since obviously trained pretty hard and he's much quicker than I am. So I've got not a chance in hell of beating him any now. Devlin is a long-time listener and friend of the show. Had made his track star debut, even though he forgot his singlet, prior to the race, and made a few kind of small mistakes on the way into that race, but somehow still pulled himself together and ran a pretty impressive time. And then Tom Shenton is, I believe, Simon's nemesis, in that Tom goes down to the Secret Rocky Runners every year, where Simon tries to get a cheap Rebel Sport voucher, and Tom turns up and takes the cookies every year. So,
I mean, I'd say we're close rivals, but he's significantly fitter than me. So, he's a very good runner there. So, congrats, Tom, for a good 3,000. All right, we'll move on to the True Blue Ultra.
Yeah, so I think we said last week, this is basically 12.5K times X. So you've got 12.5, 25, 50, 75 and 100K. I think last week the weapon of warp was Jackie Kellerman for running 50-odd Ks. Must have been in preparation for this, because she managed to absolutely dominate the 75. But here we are. We'll go for the 12.5, which started at 8 a.m. Leanne Flugel ran 55.52 there. Sharon Davis ran 59.47 in second, and then Sandra Sivua in 101.18 for the 12.5. Gareth Morgan came first for the men there, 49.06. Trent Savoy in 50.10, and then Nick Moore in 50.53. The 25K, which started at 6 a.m. Now, this name I'm about to read, apparently, I was talking to Hannah Paget on the weekend, and Debbie Donald is quite the name to look out for this year. She's run very quick marathons in the past, and apparently is training to do so again this year. So I think she said to keep an eye on her for the podcast over the next few months. But Debbie Donald ran 1:38.10 for the 25, beating Lauren French in 1:39.07, and then Fee McD in 1:47.58. Aidan Armstead came in first for the men in 1:44.48, followed by Michael Kazic in 1:48.04, and then Stephen Sutty in 1:48.05. So pretty close between second and third there. The 50K started at 3 a.m. We're getting into the crazies now. Caitlin Hindmarsh, 4:46.57. Claire Nyberg came in second in 5:08.08, and then Neve Lawless in 5:51.23. Steve Spencer came first for the men, 4:03.36, followed by Hendrik Moen in 4:15.40, and then John Foley coming in third in 4:30.37. Now, the 75K, which started at midnight, only had 4 finishes, 3 women, 1 male. We had Jackie Kellerman running 6:10.55, then followed by Jana Thompson in 8:54.01. So, I mean, Jackie obliterating the field. She actually won the race outright over Justin Roberts, who came in first for the men in 10:45.08, and then Fee Salmons in 12:41 came in third for the women. So I think Jackie averaged 4:55s for 75 kilometres, which is absolutely bananas. That is crazy. Hopefully, were you telling me, Simon, that maybe Jackie has something signed up for the 100K championships?
Yeah,
or
I
something
think
along those lines?
I think she's running the national 100K champs sometime soon. So this was a bit of a training run for her.
Yeah,
I think so.
Proper endurance stuff. So congratulations, Jackie. Also, the 100K started at midnight. Shane Arris came in first for the men in 9:21.11, followed by Darren Chandler in 9:35.41, and then Michael Snart 10:47.54. A name we've said on the podcast before and maybe had a giggle about. Chelsea Topless came in first for the 100K in 11:23.50, followed by Bianca Harding in 11:54.06, and then Daphne Gibbs in 13:54.30. Not sure if Daphne is related to Ian Gibbs of the Bunbury Runners Club, but given the last name, I'm just going to say that they are, and that's the end of it. Shout out to Andy Carrington. I think you guys mentioned earlier he did a recce for Herdys down there, around 11:23.54. Very impressive stuff from you, Andy. Now, Simon, the 10K or 9.7K world champs was on Sunday. Do you want to run us through the Matilda Bay Run there?
Yep. So, the Matilda Bay Run was over the weekend on Sunday. Perfect conditions, actually. Usually the Matilda Bay Run is 30 degrees at 7 a.m. and gusty and absolute shit weather. But it was actually really good Sunday morning. There was a bit of a breeze halfway through the 9.8K, but other than that, nothing to really complain about. They changed the location, and I think due to the change in location and perhaps the course setup, it probably resulted in a lot of mishaps in terms of where people were running. So the 4K ended up being, I don't know, I think some people were clocking 2.8Ks and some people were clocking 3.2. So it was a bit of a shit show in the 4K. But in the 3.2K World Championships, in the women's, that was taken out by Olivia Hildebrandt in 12:18. Emily Murray coming second in 12:35, and Laura Wiesenecker. What do you reckon, Chris? You're very good at this.
Wiesenecker.
Okay, yep, in 13:01.
So you didn't ask me for any advice on that.
Yeah, no, I skipped over you, Vici. In the men's, we had Paul Gauchi in 11:35, Lee Chang very close there in 11:36, and Cathal de Faute in 11:39. In the 9.8K, we had Neera Jarab in the women's taking that out in 36:05, Nikita Fredenay in 37:22, and Lisa Tyak coming third there in 37:39. Very good there from Lisa. She's just starting her Ballarat marathon block, so this was a nice little tester for her. So really good there, Lisa. And then in the men's, we had Sota Mahara in 33:56. This was actually a good tussle in the men's race. We had James Gill coming second in 34:05, and we had James Allen rounding up the men's podium in 34:25. So I did this race. Yeah, look, I think the course setup, the change in location, you get the narrow footpaths. It's potentially a bit of a shit show at the start. To be honest, I think they probably overcomplicated the course. I don't remember it being that complicated last year, because I think when it was actually where Matilda Bay was, it was sort of like an out and back, but you go past the start line and do another loop, whereas it seems like you're cutting in and you're kind of doing a smaller loop around as well. So it got really confusing, and I think from memory, people were making wrong turns. left, right, and centre. So it was pretty confusing. But yeah, it was a good turnout, I think, with the weather. I think when the forecast was showing sort of maximum of 27, there was a huge turnout that morning. It's a free race for Marathon Club members, so it was a good showing there. My race, I think I woke up and I didn't really feel like running it, to be honest. But so did a warm up with Matt. Kind of did a quick 2K warm up. Got started, and so the game plan heading into this was just hit 340s and then see what happens. And I kind of did that to a certain extent, maybe a little bit quick at the start. And then what I had on my watch, I didn't have the distance. I just had the pace. So it was hitting 340s the entire time. It was like not K pace. It was just like the entire race average pace. So it was sort of hovering 340s at the halfway mark. But when I started my second lap and noticed that it was only 18 minutes, I was sort of, conscious that perhaps the course was a bit short. Anyway, things got hard at 6Ks, and I think I kind of just couldn't be fucked for the rest of the race. So you see a 349 in there, you see a 353. I think on my watch, the average pace had slowed down to 342, 343. So I didn't think I had slowed down that much, but it wasn't until after the fact. And then when I crossed the line at 36:22, I realized that, the course was significantly short. So it's not even a 9.8K PB for me, but still a pretty good time nonetheless. I think it gives me a level of confidence because I wasn't really feeling up for it. But to still hit that time, I'm kind of happy with. It's a good benchmark for, the rest of 2026, to be honest. So overall, I'm pretty happy. And I kind of see what's next.
Yeah, cool. Were you running kind of behind Nira then? Running that kind of pace?
No. So Nira was probably 36-minute group, to be honest. So I think there were a couple of people around Nira. Piero, that we know very well, was in that group along with a couple of others. So they were kind of within reach. But I kind of stuck to the 340s. I didn't want to catch up to them and potentially overcook myself. So the reason why I probably had some faster first couple of Ks was I saw Lisa take off and was trying to keep up with her, to be honest, for the first couple. So there was that. And to be honest, probably the only thing that kept me in the race was Matt was just behind me. So I think the only thing that got me through to the finish was, we're well aware that Matt's been injured. He's been having a sore bum since September, and he's sort of coming back to full fitness. But the last thing I wanted was to have an unfit Matt beat me to the finish. So that kind of really spurred me on, to be honest. But other than that, I couldn't be fucked towards the end there.
Yeah.
But glad to have finished.
I mean, it looks pretty consistent bar those two, the 8th and 9th K, mate. So I wouldn't be too hard on yourself. But yeah, nothing like a little bit of fear to drive you to the finish sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. So I think, look, I probably just need to work on that mental side a little bit because 10Ks are pretty hard anyway. So I think it's just trying to work on the things that I say to myself in that 6 to 8K range. I think when the going gets a bit tough, but I think I've got a couple of swings over the year. So whether it's bridges, whether it's Shelley Loop, which usually draws the front runner guys too as well. So there's probably a couple of opportunities there to have a swing at the 10K. So nothing to be too stressed about, and good one to start the year with.
Definitely. All right. Well, I think that's us for results this week. There's a fair few events coming up, both running and running related. So I'm going to start with Bunbury Runners Club on the Australia Day Fun Run. That's on obviously Monday, 26th of Jan. The 5K and 10K there down at the Coolambitti Woola Youth Precinct. Part of the proceeds for that event will actually be donated to the Bunbury Soup Van, who kind of take care of people who are in need. And they also, in addition to the race event entries, the people are welcoming. The club's welcoming donations directly to of cans of food, basically to the event. So everyone's welcome to come down there and do that. I've put here that we've got the Bunbury Runners Club seminar series. So we're going to be down there recording those on the 5th of February and the 12th of March. The first of which is Kumbana Physiotherapy. So the listeners will remember Ash Ritson from last year's Bunbury Running Festival training series. Ash is a physio there with Sean at Kumbana, and they'll be running a technical seminar on physical, mental nutrition physical, mental preparation and nutrition for distance runners. And then on the 12th of March, all I've got given is that it's an inspirational seminar for runners, hosted by the rock star himself, Ian Gibbs. So looking forward to seeing what those guys put together for those, and we'll be bringing them to the Warp listeners as part of the Bunbury Running Festival training series. The State 5,000 metres is on this Saturday, the 24th of Jan. So as I alluded to last week, I think we might have some pretty quick times being run down there this Saturday. So we'll try and get down there to watch that, which should be interesting. My memory is escaping me as to who the reigning 5K champs are. Simon, would you happen to remember?
I think last year was the year that Max Shervington won bloody everything. So I think he's right, the reigning 5,000 meter champ in the men's.
Yep.
I can't remember the women's.
Let's go here because I know we had Charlie Rose, Carlian, running a lot of good races last summer, but I want to see who the 2025 5,000 metre champion is.
Ellaby Hansen, possibly?
Probably not. Sean Monks?
It could have been Sean too. But I think
Sean won.
Yeah.
Let's make up a name. It's Sean.
Yeah. There'll be names to look out for.
Yeah, Sean Monks was second in 2023. I have not got anything more than that at the moment.
This wasn't on the run sheet, guys.
Yeah, I know. If I had contributed more to this week's run sheet, then maybe this wouldn't be a problem. But no, that's cool.
You keep talking, and I'll look it up.
Fantastic. All right. Well, then on the 1st of February, we've got the Swiss Herdys event for the Perth Trail Summer Series. That's down at Mundy Regional Park. There's the green, blue, and black at 6, 9, and 15K respectively. There's the Sandman 50 that Vicky's no longer running in a relay there the same day. That's down in Dunsborough. There's 50K solo and the 2x25K relay. The Bustleton Runners Club Bay Run. That's a big one on the WA running calendar. That's on the 7th of Feb. Geograph Bay, Bustleton. That's all sold out, so don't bother buying a ticket. I'm sure there'll be people selling them or trying to get rid of them on Facebook Marketplace because there are no transfers available through the Bustleton Runners Club. Jarron Forest Trail Run on the 8th of Feb with the WA Marathon Club in Hovia. There's a 5 and 13K there. From memory, last year the 13K is roughly, maybe 400 metres of elevation, so not massive, but it's a nice kind of accessible trail run, mostly run on gravel tracks, so nothing too technical. The Bunbury Three Waters Running Festival, as we are kind of starting to advertise now in this new year, that's on the 12th of April. It's a little way away, but if you haven't seen socials, the Mara and Half Mara are both sold out. There are 58 spots left in the 10K and 160 left in the 5, so they will be your only opportunities to get down there to Bunbury, to the greatest regional running festival in WA. There are 2 spots available in the 4 hour 30 pace group. If anyone would like to donate their time and their running ability to that cause, that will get you a free ticket to the marathon and a nice pacing singlet designed by yours truly. So which we're having made by Brett at Payne. So if anyone knows Brett, he's a legend and gets things done very quickly for us on a regular basis. So that's all the upcoming events. Simon, how did you go with your little bit of research there, mate?
Sean Monks. She won that Stay.
Well, hopefully Sean's running in. Yeah, what a guess. No, very good. Well, it'll be interesting to see what gets run this year anyway, because always people are always pushing the boundaries, and it's great to see people getting faster. Unfortunately, there's no community run there this year, so that is unfortunate. But I think it's still important to be supporting track, regardless of whether they are supporting us. And obviously, speaking of track, Vicky, how are things going with the women's track night?
Yes, things are happening. We are just working through some logistics. I won't say too much at the moment, but it's happening and it will happen. There will be a WA Women's Track Night in 2026. So that's the plan.
Well, yeah, fantastic.
What month it is, that may change, but so I won't confirm a month at the moment because we're just working through some intricacies, which I'll fill you both in on offline. But we will hopefully be able to bring more information to our listeners soon.
No, regardless when it is, Vicky, it's an important thing to be raising because obviously the track is pretty intimidating for everyone, and giving women an opportunity to be showcased on the track is extremely important. So looking forward to seeing how that develops over the next little while. Simon, take us through Simon Says this week, please.
I've got one main thing. It was sent through by an avid listener. Thank you, Ash. So she made me aware of something that Yochi is doing. So Yochi is a establishment that I frequently go to. Not because I love Yochi. I like Yochi. I don't love it, but my daughter absolutely is a fiend for it. So apparently they're doing a promotion at the moment where on Sunday, if you hit 25,000 steps, you get free Yochi to the value of $15, which is probably a lot of listeners doing their long run as they're training for marathons over the next couple of months. So if you're not hitting 25,000, if you hit 5,000 steps, you get 25% off. And if you hit 10,000, you get 50% off. So I was looking at the fine print. I believe as long as you show your live step count either through Apple Health or Garmin at the counter, and as long as you achieve it before 2 p.m, which I think 100% of our listeners will be achieving their long run before, you'll be able to redeem the discount or free Yochi. So I was contemplating keeping this quiet, but I think it is something that the listeners should know about. So looking forward to seeing you all at your local Yochi to redeem your free yogurt.
That's a decent serving of Yochi as well. $15.
Yeah, $15. I don't know how much it's based on weight, right? So yeah, that's very good value. Are there any other things you could do with your wrist that might be able to manipulate the step count?
Look, nothing that springs to mind, Chris. But I think as long as everyone participates in their respective long runs, whether it's 90 minutes, 2 hours, or 2.5 hours, I think you'll be able to achieve the required step count. No, no fiddling of the results required.
Very, very good. Very diplomatic answer. Thanks. All right. Well, let's get to weapons of war. So, like at the top of this episode, when we started recording, we had absolutely no weapons, but suddenly we've got 4. So, we've trawled through the internet and we've found the very best of this week. I'll kick us off with James Payne being caught on Google Street View sometime last year with a fresh box of Night Vomeros on a Lime bike. Can't keep that one away from any significant others or wives or husbands or whoever you might have in your life who are monitoring your running purchases. But that's very, very funny. And I guess he's there for eternity somewhere in Edinburgh, from what I understand. So It's a great little couple of photos from James there on his Strava. Matt Maguire, in his last person standing week 15 contribution, he mentioned that he might not make it this week because he was out in Japan. He's been snowboarding. But apparently Vici said that there's a little bit of peer pressure came upon him, and he managed to walk it instead as a late entry for Sunday afternoon. I did see Matt, or maybe it was Jane, post a video of him in a baseball cage. I think they're still in Japan somewhere. And Jane just saying that, I can't believe that he's still good at another sport. He absolutely smoked this baseball like out of the park. So, good on you, Matt. I hope you're enjoying yourself over there. It doesn't look like there's much golf going on, but, there's obviously other dubious Strava activities such as snowboarding.
No, I actually saw a golf entry on Strava from him when I was just scrolling.
Really? In the snow?
Yeah. We're in Japan, so I don't know whether he found a snowless golf course, but
mini golf. Even worse. Now, Kristy Wright, she's a runner down at Double. I bumped into her at the Turnstile show at Red Hill Auditorium on Sunday afternoon, and I did tell her, look, she asked me, are you going to go down in the pit at any point? Because this is a punk show, right? So there's a circle pit, and there's people, men and women, throwing fists, legs, and every part of their body at each other for fun, apparently. I saw a video later of Kristy in the pit. So kudos to you, Kristy. Like, that's pretty brave going down there.
She's only just come back from injury as well. So
I think she's extremely brave. But she said it was absolutely amazing, and everybody was very respectful, and as respectful as you can be inside a pit. That was a very awesome spectacle to watch from the safety of the auditorium where I was. And then finally, Jamie Reeves went out for a 10K run this weekend, tagged us in a photo of him indulging in a delicious soft serve cone with a flake. He thought he would treat himself if he went out for a 10K run, but he ended up only doing 8. But that's still an A at school if you do 80, get 80%. So I guess you still deserve the ice cream, Jamie. Yeah. But that's us for this week in terms of weapons. Anything to add, guys?
No, I mean, we've gone for too long. It's long. I'm going to say, so let's end it.
This is a 1.5 times speed episode that you just need to skip the first minute of as well, because the introduction was absolutely appalling. And I am going to attempt to close us out better than I started us. Thanks everyone for joining us. You can reach out to us on our socials, on Instagram at WA Running Pod. Email us at warunningpodcast@gmail.com, or you can join our Strava group, which is WARP, WARP. We will speak to you all next week. Have a great week, guys.
See ya.
Thanks, Vicky. See ya.
That
was a good outro.
Lock her in for every week from now on.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was a misunderstanding.
Yeah. I actually thought that Simon was introing it too, Vicky.
Really?
I thought you meant introduce Keith, not necessarily introduce the episode. But
That's what I meant.
My bad.